and good health for the next couple of days. All the best. So I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Lawrence Walker. Lawrence Walker is the first secretary at the Embassy of the United States of America in Berlin, responsible for economic policy on trade. He has previously worked and served as the U.S. embassies in different countries, for example in Nigeria, in China, Mexico City, or the State Department's Office of Korean Affairs as well. He has also worked as the managing director of the German-American Chamber of Commerce in San Francisco and as a director of business development in Silicon Valley. Mr. Walker is a native of California, and he speaks German, French, Spanish, and Mandarin Chinese fluently. So if you have any questions, ask him. Doesn't matter where you're from. So, Larry, we'll continue. Thank you very much.
Actually, after that introduction, I'll have to change the plan of this. What I'm actually doing today is reading the speech on behalf of someone who could not be here today, the Honorable David Hinson of our Minority Business Development Agency. So, to use another American expression, as George just did, is this a great country or what? Something we often say. It's my rare privilege as a member of the ethnic majority group in the United States, or in my home state of California, the ethnic plurality group, to be able to represent the head of the Minority Business Development Agency. So I will raise my two fingers in the air. This is not by way of ecclesiastical blessing, but these are the quotation marks. And what you will hear from this point on are the thoughts, in his own words, of the Honorable David Hinson. Good afternoon, and thank you, Marco Siebert, for your kind introduction. I'm so pleased to be here representing the people of the United States and of the Department of Commerce. We meet here this week on the heels of the worst global economic crisis most of us have ever seen. Just 1 year ago, many thought that our financial system was on the verge of collapsing and taking the entire global economy down with it. And although dangers remain, there is growing confidence that the aggressive monetary and fiscal policies that governments of Europe, Asia, and North America have followed have helped to stave off disaster. But now, as we debate a path forward, we must consider some difficult lessons. Over the past few decades, America has been the world's most forceful advocate for the power of unfettered free markets to spur growth and economic development. And the evidence is overwhelming that market principles, when they are rightly focused, have delivered immense benefits to countries around the world. But this recent financial crisis has exposed flaws in the free market system. It has shown us that markets can be distorted toward short-term thinking and speculation at the expense of long-term prosperity. And in recent years, too many leaders in business were happy to ignore the risks and to exploit the speculative opportunities. Too many leaders in government were willing to look the other way. And all of us have paid the price for their hubris and irresponsibility. But my faith is not shaken in the power of markets to transform society. Because free markets, at their best, empower every man and woman with an idea to pursue their dreams, to solve a problem, to build a business. And that dynamic, more than anything else, is what leads to widespread prosperity. And that is what will ultimately solve some of the world's most vexing problems, whether we're talking about climate change or entrenched poverty, even disease. So, the question I believe that we must ask ourselves is, how can we, as economic and political leaders, best encourage and facilitate our innovators and entrepreneurs to thrive? That is a question I think about every day in my position as Director of the Minority Business Development Agency, or MBDA. And today, I'd like to share with you a few answers I have come up with. Now, when you're talking about something as big and as varied as the global economy, it's tempting to think of it in big ideas. We want to analyze the impact of this or that microeconomic policy, and debate the role of this particular international financial institution. And make no mistake, these are issues of critical importance. But we must be careful not to overlook the key ingredient in the global economy, the indispensable currency of growth, and that is relationships. In this world in which we live today, it is the individual and the individual's relationships that matter. Relationships are what drive our growth at the grassroots level and at the level of the world economy. Relationships provide access. Relationships with the United States of America, with American companies and with Americans of all different backgrounds, provide access to one of the largest consumer markets in the world. And these relationships provide a foothold into the United States and a connection to markets all around the world. And building these relationships is like building a bridge. You must have symmetry across the span. Each side of the bridge, in order for it not to collapse, must have equal strength. But in recent years, that was not the case. There were profound imbalances in our global financial system. We had debt-fueled consumption in developed countries, particularly in the United States, being fed by exports from emerging economies. And that type of arrangement was bound to collapse, and it did, in spectacular fashion, 2 years ago. Now we need to build a new bridge based on the power of entrepreneurs and of innovation. We need to free our people to build relationships across borders and to restore a sense of balance to the world economy. On the United States side of the bridge, we're interested in building relationships by expanding our offering of new and innovative products and services. And you can see this most clearly in President Obama's National Export Initiative, or NEI, which calls for doubling U.S. exports within 5 years. Now, under the NEI, there's going to be more credit available to exporters, more government trade promotion, and a sharper focus on knocking down the barriers that prevent U.S. companies from getting free and open access to foreign markets. The goal of the NEI is to increase the number of small, medium, and minority-owned businesses exporting to more than one market by 50% over the next 5 years, and to focus our attention more on exporting to emerging markets and identifying market opportunities in fast-growing sectors like environmental goods and services, renewable energy, healthcare, and biotechnology. Or to put it another way, prior to the NEI, export promotion may have been some of the time focus for many in the U.S. cabinet agencies and departments. But now with the NEI, export promotion